cast by Caldor and Wolf.
And we are live and ready for action. At the bottom left of the map, we have our Protoss player. He is starting in the red, and we have him with the name of
Slayer's Puzzle.
I completely botched that, didn't I?
Ah, you were fine.
Nah,
You were great.
that was weird.
It was not.
But there he is, and he played really well against this. He spotted it. He didn't spot it too early, but he kind of saw the banelings morphing, and then he knew what was coming. But even though it didn't work, I like the strategy. Starting to the top left, the Zerg player that executed it. It is starting for the StarTail team.
StarTail Curious.
He just looks so dangerous, man. Like, actually, outside of the booth, he does not look like this. I'm really serious. I'm sure a lot of you are really curious to see what he looks like, but look up photos, something, I don't know. I mean, he is, like he said in so many interviews, he really removes the emotions from himself when he sits in that booth, and it's very evident when you see him play, when you see him sit down like that. Neutral depot going to help in part of the wall here. I really like the design of this map. I still think this map is a little bit too big. Not one of my favorite maps, but the way that the ramp is designed with that depot is cool because it allows Protoss to do forward fast expands a wall fully if they want to or need to, then they can kill that depot later without really... It's not the same as rocks, because rocks take forever to kill. It means that if you wall off completely, you can't send that probe out. But with the depot, yeah, if you've got a zealot and a stalker, or even a zealot and a sentry, kill that depot pretty quick, get another probe out. No big deal.
And this time we have Curious with a normal build order. He does not want to get kind of cheesy or... Well, not necessarily cheesy. Cheesy is definitely the wrong word. He doesn't want to get cheeky here and start with some kind of planned-out strategy that he especially designed for this map. He's really comfortable here. This is a big map, as you said, and most Zerg players are really comfortable with Roland. For good reason.
Yeah, and in fact, wow, he's going to go double hatch before pool. Double hatch before pool is pretty rare in this matchup. It's seen more commonly in the matchup against Terran. And this makes him a little bit vulnerable to cannoning right now, but there's only one probe out.
Actually, the first time that we've seen it against Protoss.
And it was on this map, wasn't it?
No, it was Entombed. It was live against Hero. And yeah, you are right though. Against cannoning, you are definitely a bit more vulnerable. This is exactly why it's a bit baffling to me that he doesn't have one of his overlords or a drone or whatever patrolling at the third base.
Yeah, but he did have one drone following that first probe. But the scary thing is, what if a second probe comes? Got to be very careful about that. Something you saw we've seen so many games like this. One game recently on Daybreak comes to mind. In StarCraft 1, this happened quite often. You got to be careful about the third base getting cannoned. It's a Zerg's worst nightmare. But it's not a dream, it's real.
The cannon is building, but not anywhere near the third base. No, it's building at the wall off.
Let me ask you a question. Which one frustrates you more? When you walk all the way somewhere, like takes you like 10 or 15 minutes to walk there, you find out you forgot your wallet and you have to walk all the way home, or when you find out that you didn't scout cannons behind your third base? Which one's more frustrating to you, Caldor?
That's a really tough one.
That's a tough question, man. I'm putting you on the spot, man.
I'm actually so really annoyed with potential cannons that I always have an overlord scouting when spotting. Usually most Zerg players nowadays, if you start with the pool opening, you're fine. So it doesn't really matter. That's why a lot of Zergs will send out the second overlord right away and will not have him hover over the base. But I usually have one in the vicinity just because I've been cannon rushed so many times and I'm really so fed up with it that I usually always have something scouting. So that doesn't happen to me all that often.
Okay.
And yeah, so I would have to say the wallet thing.
Well, the thing is, I always have this overlord that talks to me, and when I leave my house, if I forgot my wallet, he says, "Wait a minute, you forgot your wallet." So that never happens to me either. So I hate it when I get canned.
You have a pet overlord who does that?
No, it's not
Where
a
can
pet.
I buy them?
He is hired. I'll talk to Kerrigan for you. It's fine.
Okay, that's great. I actually have a friend who has a cat and he named her Kerrigan. So every time I'm in Skype with him, he's like, "Kerrigan, stop it! Not now! No, we can't play now, Kerrigan. Stop it!" And it is so weird.
What color is the cat? Is it like a tabby cat, a browner color?
I don't know, but it's a really young one. And it's really active, so it's always just bouncing around and wants to play. And it's just so funny to him say it. It's like, "Kerrigan, not now! No, Kerrigan, I told you, not now! Later!"
I hope that cat never gets abandoned on.
The cat actually watches the StarCraft. That's the funny thing about it. Every time he watches GSL, he actually posted pictures where he sits in front of the screen and actually looks at the screen and looks at what's happening.
I gotta see this.
I can send you a picture later.
My cat used to watch StarCraft with me sometimes as well.
Maybe we could connect them.
Yeah.
Well,
they're both girls. They probably get along well. Actually, cats hate each other when they're both girls, though. That's a problem.
the one thing that his Overlord is hating, by the way, is the one Void Raider is taking him down right now. He can run, he can try, but even with a speed upgrade, he is not fast enough to get away here.
I'm actually, you said run. Imagine Overlord just like comes close to the ground and starts moving his tentacles on the ground trying to run. Just imagine that, man, an Overlord trying to run with his tentacles. He's like trying to get back to creep where he gets a speed bonus. He's like, I can move faster.
That would be one creative Overlord. But look at how many Phoenixes we have. Curious is up against the gateway Stargate opening once again, and Puzzle is following this up with gateway pressure on 2 bases. The 3 bases here for Curious are definitely in trouble, because how many Overlords did he actually kill? He took down 3 of them so far. And the Phoenixes might be a little bit too much for him to deal with. There are 4 of them already, and they will head out very soon. There's a 5th one. At the same time, he's already headed for the robotics bay.
Yeah, and he made 5 queens, but they're not all together. So he can pick them off one by one. Like you said, it takes 4 Phoenixes to kill a queen. Here we go! 1 goes up.
You can run, but you can hide. And there's number 2. This is a bit too much, though.
Yeah, well, if he lifts both of these up again, I think he can get them.
He can get
but
all
here
of
come the
them, yes.
Hydras. He's gonna have to sacrifice the Void Ray to get the queen and get out. Gets out.
Yes, takes it down, and therefore we have still 2 left, because the one thing that Curious did as soon as he realized what he's up against is build additional queens. Exactly what you need to do.
But he's fallen into the trap of making the Hydras, which is exactly what Puzzle wants with his robotic support bay. The question is, will he take a 3rd? Like
It's not really a trap. You know what the Pros player is going to do. I mean, early on when the strategy was first developed, this was definitely something that you did not expect, and suddenly your Hydras were screwed because they were up against ranged Colossi. But this time, it just depends on how much you actually commit to it. But you have to be aware. Curious has to know now that the one, and that's the Spire. He knows that the one thing that is going to face him very, very soon are Colossi. So the transition into a Spire is, yeah,
we just saw Shine versus Ace just moments ago, our most previous best of 3. The game ended up a lot like this. He goes into Hydras, makes a decent amount of them, but rather than trying to attack early with them, gets the Spire up first, brings Corruptors with the push. More harassment here with these Phoenixes, though. He's skimped on Spore Crawlers. He only made a few, and they're not covering all of his queens. Wow, he's going to even lose another Overlord.
Yeah, he's taking down a lot of these Overlords. Very well done. And once again, a short supply block. And that's a lot of Hydra lists. That is 14 already. The Hydra-Roach combination here with the Roach speed and Hydra range coming up. And this is pretty cool, actually. I really like how he does this. And resources lost, you just pointed out to me. It's overwhelming in favor of Puzzle.
Puzzle with 2 units lost at 487 resources. One of those is the Void Ray, of course. And Curious at 16 resources lost, 1,425, 1,000 more resources lost than his opponent. The Phoenix is still alive. That's going to really help him against this push, this follow-up that Curious is going to try to send. Here are the first Corruptors, 6 of them coming out, 7 now.
Puzzle is not trying to end things here with some kind of 2-base timing attack that follows the early aggression with a Stargate. No, he is going for the 3rd base. And he is up against a very, very strong Zerg army. Curious has 110 army supply against Puzzle's 80. So let's see if he's able to maybe take that, maybe flank him even. Oh, look at this. They're actually passing each other on the map.
Oh, but if he catches these roaches for free, that's not going to be good for Curious. Curious has to react now. All right, only gets a few.
Yeah, places down a fail field. Actually thought that he would be able to get in.
Oh, he's going to catch these Corruptors, though.
This is bad.
And with the Phoenixes, they will not escape.
Oh, no, they won't. And now what does he have against the Colossi? Not a lot.
Yeah, not a lot at all. A great concave here for Curious. It's practically a surround at this point, but the army for Puzzle is perfectly designed to kill this.
He has to be a bit careful here, though, how he engages. He's very cautious about it, and he should be. He's building the 3rd base. It's actually done. He can start to saturate it. And now we have more and more Corruptors coming in here, of course. But Curious on 200 supply is against Puzzle's 163 supply strong army. And this is very tense now. Curious know that he has to edge a small win out, and he's trying to attack from two different angles. There are the force fields though, and those Colossi, they go to town. Here's the Corruption and the focus fire by the Corruptors. They take down the first Colossus, but the second one, it survives, and so much damage done by Puzzle. Curious, he has the numbers though, and he's moving in with those Hydralisks, ripping everything to shreds. They just have way too much DPS for him to deal with.
Well,
the Colossi is his lifeline.
Yeah, and he just has so many reinforcements here. Even though this Colossus is doing a lot, it's eventually going to fall, as it does here. And Curious's next wave of roaches is going to be so difficult to hold. He's got the one Immortal, but not for long. Phoenix is desperately picking up here, but the roaches are closing the distance, targeting down that Immortal.
And that was the important part. With the Immortal gone, now Curious in a great position. He is not only ahead in supply, but at this point, Puzzle does not really have an answer to his opponent's unit composition.
He didn't even mine from his third Nexus. He made the third Nexus and never mined a single crystal from there. So he didn't really have that third base economy. And he's just pushing all the way through these roaches. The Phoenixes are trying to desperately buy time here.
Well, good luck for this one.
Yeah.
Single Corrupt. I mean, that's what's the most stupid thing he ever did in his life.
GG.
Hey, I'm on half hit points. Let's attack those three Phoenixes. Doesn't matter though.
Don't protect the roaches.
Because we have Roach and Hydras, and this is too much. And of course, Puzzle knows it. Curious, with a win on the second map, overwhelms Puzzle. And look at this Slayer just. He sprints from the VIP room, from the backstage area, straight to Puzzle's booth. The door should open any second. There it is. And well, we will see a third map here.
Yep, and the third map is going to be yet another big one. It's going to be Atlantis Spaceship. There's Sella in the booth now, talking to Puzzle. I think he's trying to stress to him that it was not necessary to attack and that he could have held the third, should have mined from it. You know, he literally, like I said, did not mine a crystal from there and sent no probes, stopped probe production. It was almost as if he planned on canceling it, then forgot to. Curious with a nice hold there. Lost a lot of queens, but never stopped making them. And his consistency in his defense and also his patience, I think, really showed through in that game. I didn't expect him to hold as easily as he did.
He just had a lot more units. He wasn't the supply lead, and the one thing that was lacking a little bit for Puzzle were, for example, more Immortals to kill the roaches. But the problem that he had is you can only build so many units out of one robotics, so you have to make this choice. And it was really nice that he had he needed those Colossi against the Hydralisks, but even though he was able to pick off the first wave of Corruptors, there were so many that the first Colossi died way too soon, and when he ran out of force field energy, Curious could close the distance with everything he had, and he just had too much. Killing the queens is nice, but the problem is, if there are still enough queens to hit the injects, then the Zerg player does only lose 150 minerals, and that's the one thing that he will easily be able to replace if he has 3 bases.
Yeah, this Phoenix play can be quite good. I'm not sure... I mean, we saw 2 different Colossus today use this very same build. I'm not sure exactly if this build is really good. I mean, it's a bit risky, and it delays your tech quite a bit. It makes your expansion, and it makes play against roaches quite difficult.
It just feels that Zerg player have figured out how to deal with the target opening, which is why we didn't see it for a long time. Now it has kind of a comeback, but it's not all... It works sometimes. It's so-so.
I agree 100%. It's time to find out what sort of build we are going to see from Puzzle in this final game. Puzzle against Curious. The map is Atlantis Spaceship. One of these players will advance into the round 3.